What's up, everybody? Alex here. I am at the shop. We are getting ready to go race the Big Sky 200. So, race truck's here. I've made a little bit of progress on that thing as far as getting it prepped, but today I'm gonna do a good bit of stuff, fixing some broken tubes and hopefully getting our shifter mounted. We put twin sticks in, so I'm gonna show you guys all of that. But first, I'm gonna be working on this. I got some new goods from Baja Designs. These are Squadron Sports with the wide cornering in amber, but they have their new SAE fog lights out. So I'm gonna be swapping these out for the new SAE fog lights. I'll show you those in a second. But we're gonna see how those are compared to these. These are a little too bright to use on the road, but they've been really killer off-road. But I'm excited to try out the new SAE lights. So here are the new SAE lights. They are freaking sick, but this is new technology from them. They're older ones I used to have on my Duramax, and I really like those, but I am stoked to try these out. I'll probably swap the lenses out for amber at some point, but we'll try the white first just to see. But as you can see, it's the exact same housing, just with different internals and a different lens. So yeah, these are the CJC fog pocket kits for this truck. Since I have the valence and everything out, you can see, give you an idea of how easy this is. I took these 4 bolts out. That's the Squadron there, and I can just pull this whole thing out and down, and then now I'll be able to swap that SAE in there really easy. There we go. There's one installed, super easy. You can see that side versus that side. I think I'll definitely swap to amber, but let me turn them on and show you what they look like compared. So here we go, here's your difference. You can actually see how much more bleed there is up high. And then as I come down, you'll notice the cutoff. So that right there is why those SAEs are street legal. See how it gets bright as I get lower? Whereas the non-SAE one is bright regardless of what height I'm at. Yeah, so great for off-road, great for on-road and off-road. One thing to note about these Rams too is if you run them into the fog light harness, those lights actually turn on when you turn at low speeds at night, and also when you have your blinker on. So that was getting really obnoxious at night because I was blinding people as I would turn my blinkers on, and I'd had no control over whether or not they were on or not. So going to a SAE light makes that a lot better, but lots of light output. I'll get some shots at night too, but yeah. So I got those all swapped out. These are sweet. Big fan. Definitely excited to put them to use. Another thing I'm doing, since I think we're gonna have a good bit of people in this truck on the way up, on the Diablo rack, I'm throwing up these 2 66-liter Rome cases just to give ourselves a little bit more storage room. I'll have the bed open. I might throw another one of the gear pods on the Lightner. Got the awning. So this will be pretty dialed for the weekend up in Montana. But once I get those cases on, I adjusted my drag link on this just to center the steering wheel a little better, take it for a test drive, and then get started on this thing. All right, the truck's all wrapped up, so now getting started on this. Some of the first things I gotta do is fix some cracked welds on this thing, and then also on our A-pillar tie-in on our cage where this paint mark is, there's a crack right here. So gonna grind a nice groove in there, patch that up, and maybe add a little bit more material between that and the frame just to give it a little more strength. I think that is some of the main stuff we got to do there. I'm gonna fill this in. You can see we bent this. This is 3/16 wall tube, so it's really stout, and we still took a hard enough hit to bend it up. So I'm gonna tie this in, through here. This is where our skid mounts, and that'll just cover up this radiator. Clean that up a little bit. So yeah, other than that, this thing's in really good shape still. All the icons held up really well. The front diff with the Yukon gears and the ARB locker had zero issues. Our CVJ axles are still in great shape. So really, really cool that all of this performed really well. The rear end has already been gone through, nut and bolted. Put new brake pads in. Those were pretty worn down after hammers. Repainted the rear axle, touched up some stuff. I did some PDR on the bumper. We have new taillights coming. This side's been kind of bashed back down. We had a pretty nasty dent on this side, which I was able to bang out. You can see this is all that Bondo work that I did before hammers, and now it's all beat up again, but the wrap took it really well. I also got some of these panels back on. We just did some socket buttons where the clips are broken. Looks really, really good still. So, and then diving inside, this is where we're working on the shifter. So right now I just have the cable, but we're gonna mount a pedestal for the shifter, and then the shifter will kind of sit up here, like kind of high, and then right here's our twin stick. So 2 high, it's a little bound up right now, 4 high, and then you can go up to 4 low. And then you also have neutral, 4 high, 2 high. Pretty sick. Yeah, a little bit of cleaning to do. Everything else has been beautiful. So yeah, I'm gonna keep cranking on getting these fixed up and keep moving. All right, we're all patched up, we're welded, we're painted. Patch this up down here. Gotta paint that still, but making moves. The other side's also done as well. One thing we do need to work on is just probably figuring out what is still allowing a lot of movement in this, just to basically get this to stop cracking. One thing we could do is maybe do another tie-in from here up to there, or it might be that the body's moving just a little bit too much in relationship to the frame, so maybe adding another solid body mount. We have these ones up front, and then our cage tie-ins right here, but maybe if we put like a puck back into this location and bolt that, or do another one back here, or something along those lines, that might help a lot as well. So one thing I just did was I went through and checked all of our diffs and our transfer case to make sure that they were topped off. Sometimes we get some like blow by through the breathers, especially when we're running 4-wheel drive at desert pace. Our front diff blows some out the breather. We also get a good bit out of the shift boot area on the T-case, just because that T-case in 4-wheel drive isn't made to be spinning at 80 miles an hour. But one thing I wanted to show you guys, this is the gear oil that we run. It's AMSOIL Severe Gear SAE 250 weight. So really heavy stuff. We run this in the front diff and the rear diff. And then we're running, I can show you what we run in the T-case as well. The T-case gets a 85-140. So we have a lot of this stuff. This is what we used to run in our diffs. So we have literally like gallons of it. But yeah, that's something that really helps our front diff, especially keep it together. It puts a lot of friction in there. Yeah, it's probably not the best for daily driving, but for our application, it works incredibly well. So here's this kind of coming together. It's got some legs that come down, bolt into the tunnel in the factory spot. Factory spots, I suppose. And then this is gonna sit right on top like that. Nice and bolted in. And then good shift position here. And easy to get to the twin sticks. So Yeah, not too shabby. The bracket is powder coated. It is mounted, and our shifter functions. Very nice. Pretty clean setup. We might need to just extend these up a little bit, but honestly, that's pretty perfect. Then we'll just have to kind of enclose this all back in at some point, but for now it kind of shows off that clean wiring from Blaze. Pretty sick. The shifter's a lot higher than it used to be. Way easier to get to. Pretty stoked. All this is pretty much done. So, only a few things left on this. We're gonna hit the fuel cell next week. We're gonna hit that front cross member next week also. And then this thing is set, ready to race. Pretty much all the mechanical stuff is all done. All the fluids are checked. So, yeah, feels good. We're like 2.5 weeks ahead of schedule from where we normally would be. Also got to put the front skid back on. You can see how beat this thing is from hammers. That little piece goes around the front diff, and then this whole thing just gets hammered. That's the front that bolts in. So, yeah. Right now. It's the old hose. It was sucking shut like a straw. PTFE as its replacement. A lot more rigid. So, yeah, that and a new gasket because the old one was absolutely boogered. All right, the race truck is prepped, ready to go. Skid plate's back on. The other day, Hayden and I got the new taillights in, finished up all the fuel cell stuff, tested that, that's all working great. So she's ready to go. Now we just got to get packed and we leave tomorrow. See you guys in Big Sky.